So is Yoru Excalibur? I asked this because out of the two black blades that we have in the series so far, Yoru and Shusui most likely is the Japanese equivalent to Excalibur, who is called the Kusanagi no Suguri. I apologize if I butchered that name, but I could believe Shusui is that. So I could see Yoru being Excalibur because as it stands, Zoro and Ryuma are from Wano, and Wano is the One Piece equivalent to Japan. And of course, Shusui has very high connotations in being the sword of Ryuma, who is known as the sword deity. So it has very, very high standing, almost divine lore attached to it. But in that being said, we don't know where Shusui comes from or who forged it. The same could be said of Yoru. Like Ryuma, Mihawk is a very, very important swordsman in the world in his own right as the most powerful known swordsman that we have. However, like Shusui, we don't know where Yoru comes from. But what's so interesting about Yoru is that much like Excalibur, it has some divine or holy connotations because Excalibur in the lore of King Arthur is a holy sword, but Yoru itself is just a giant crucifix, which fits in very well with Mihawk's whole crucifix motif. So it makes you wonder, where exactly is Yoru from? Was it a sword in a stone that Mihawk pulled out at some point in his career? Because he has it very early, because he has it around the time of Roger's execution. We don't know if he has it earlier than that, but we do know there is a time where he is without it because, of course, he doesn't have it as a child. So where he finds Yoru is going to be a very interesting part of his story. And I do think it's probably going to be a sword in a stone somewhere. Now, with that being said, could you forge that subscription count for me and hit the subscribe button if you are liking the video so far? Hit the like button as well. And please ring that bell so you never miss a Poly P Works video. In addition, could you find the hype button? It's very much appreciated. However, to continue, I could also see Yoru being a family heirloom of the Dracula family, much like how Shusui is an heirloom of Zoro's family because Zoro, of course, is related to Ryuma. So I could see that parallel being forged between Mihawk and Zoro. The only difference is Zoro gave Shusui back to Wano. However, Mihawk kept Yoru. And maybe there was no place to return Yoru to because perhaps the place that Mihawk is originally from doesn't exist anymore. Maybe that's the case as well. But it really does make me think that the stories here are similar because it's no coincidence that both of the main swordsmen of this tale have had black blades. Also, what's interesting about this too is that there's no actual proof that Mihawk made Yoru black. Yoru could have been black before Mihawk came across it, which I could believe that is the case because it would parallel very well to Zoro fighting Shusui in the possession of a zombie Ryuma, because Ryuma in his life probably was the one who made Shusui black. So I could see that paralleling with Mihawk in that he just found Yoru black as it is. But in addition to, we just got Ragnar recently in Elbaf, and spoilers for Elbaf, but Ragnar, whom is a hammer who most likely ate a squirrel zoan fruit, which I predicted 2 years before it happened. Just a little plug there. But that is supposed to represent Mjolnir, combining the words Ragnarok with Mjolnir to get Ragnar. So seeing as how this exists in One Piece, I could believe that Yoru is the One Piece equivalent to Excalibur. However, with that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede Works.